Paulie here on the Latino slant. We have a very special guest from the Force of Light. She's a minister as well. Michelle.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, listen, here's the story, guys, and thanks for being here. You kept saying you were like, have you seen the movie yet? Have you seen the movie?
I thought of you when I saw it, especially when I
Yeah.
realized who the director was. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so you got to see, let's just make it clear. You got to see an advanced screener at home, I assume.
Yes, I
And then
did.
I saw it in the movie theater recently. Guys, you can catch both our reviews. We'll have the links to both our different reviews in the video box description. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, I want to know your overall non-spoiler thoughts that maybe you didn't get to cover in your initial review, you
Well,
know?
and I'm going to say, I did say this in my review, but I want to say again, what
Yeah.
hit me after I watched this movie is just that this is truly what I would say a beautiful film. Like everything about this like comes together to make this a beautiful film. The story is beautiful.
Mm,
The soul of the person they are showing is beautiful. Her life's work is beautiful. The score really hit my ears as so pretty and beautiful and really helps the movie as it goes along. And I thought the cinematography and the direction of this movie, there, especially cinematography, there were some stunning shots in this film. So all that together, it just
yeah.
truly was that's the words I can use. It was a beautiful film.
I'm so with you on that. And when I was watching it, it's Italian. It to me was like the good side of that same era of when The Godfather 2 is happening. You had, the criminal element becoming mafiosos, but you had the majority of hardworking Italian Americans that were poor, that were
Mhm.
doing good stuff for a lot of people. I'm wondering if Monteverde, the director, did that on purpose because I almost felt he took like a little slice of that Godfather 2 cinematography, the look and feel, the filter was just so like great to just jump into that world.
It was, and I wouldn't really
Mm.
think of that watching, but as you say it, like I can see some correlation in some of the cinematography from The Godfather 2 in this, especially like you're saying, the Italian shots, the Italy
Yeah,
shots
like the
and things.
flashbacks,
Yeah.
So yeah, great overall thoughts. I'm with you. I got to listen to Alejandro talk about the film, and he called it his opera. And I'm like,
Mm.
yes, it was so like an Italian opera, right? It was just so like grand and emotional and big, and then it was just like it was tender
It
and
was.
colorful that how can you not love this film?
Well,
And
and can I add something to that I just thought
yeah.
of? This is something that's new that I did say. It's like for it to be, which is truly American, for it to be a film
Mm,
about an Italian immigrant in,
mm,
Cabrini,
mm.
uh, it really has like, the heart of America in it, in a way. Because, like
Absolutely.
because she's I mean, she really is kind of an entrepreneur, like, that's the spirit that's there, and really, she just comes here with a dream, and she fulfills this dream, like, so it really is like like an American story, told from the point of view of this, Italian immigrant.
Well, absolutely, and I say that that's why these biopics, for lack of a better word, are so important for us as Americans to share with each other because,
Yes.
like, I didn't know she was a patron saint of immigrants. I had no idea,
I didn't
right?
either. I didn't know about Mother Cabrini.
I feel a little ashamed, right?
Yeah, I do too.
Well, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, minister, but
Well, I even like watching it because it
yeah.
is like for someone I enjoy history and I enjoy whether it's American history, church history, I enjoy world
Mm,
history even. Um, and
yeah,
like I didn't realize, and then like it makes sense in my mind as I'm watching it. Growing up, I always thought, oh, it's the Irish that had it so bad, like and they
right.
did for many years. But then you're like, "Oh, wow, I bet it was really hard on the Italians," because you don't think about that as an American now, because Italians are just they're just a part of America, the Italians that are here. So it was so interesting to really be like, "Oh, wow, like, this is how bad they had it." Again in the movie, this is not really a spoiler 'cause but
We're gonna jump into the immigrant stuff. Yeah.
because they've
Yeah.
got the paper that even the rats have it better than the Italians.
Oh,
Because I mean, that's
yeah.
real. I believe you can Google that paper.
Oh, and the letters that they wrote, yeah, and then yeah, back to the filmmaking, guys, really fast of like, overall, we'll hit a little spoilers, but, you know, she was a smart lady, so
Mhm.
she knew she needed the press behind her. So
Yes.
she, like made the newspaper guy, "You come with me. We're gonna go see the 5 points." And he was us.
Yes, yes.
He was us, and then the words he wrote really kinda galvanized people to start, you know, start the charity work with her. Uh, so many great nuggets in this film, so much, even the cast, but
Mhm.
how about the lead?
She was
Christiana.
fantastic. I'd never seen her anything before, but she was
Nope,
excellent.
nope, Christiana Delana. And what I did see an interview with her of her really fast, and we're gonna get to start talking about the immigrant message. But uh, I think she was raised in the UK or something. Like she had an English accent and with her English. I was like in
Gotcha.
shock. Yeah, I
So
was in
she was
shock.
having so then she was having to do Italian and then fake an Italian American accent.
Something like it's a great performance, guys. And she really kind of uplifts. Listen, the filmmaking's wonderful, and like you said,
Mhm.
the music's wonderful. The history, and then her performance. And I think that she's obviously the heart of the film. What I was surprised with, and I'm going to be very honest with you because we talked about this before we started, how hard it hit me was the immigrant message. It did not back down. What are your
No.
thoughts on that?
I thought it was a very it was kinda it wasn't technically well, no, it kinda was the heartbeat of the film because that's who she's come and I know she helped well beyond just Italians, but initially she wanted to help the Italians. So
Hmm.
it really is kind of the heartbeat of the story in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of the way they were being treated, just how bad they had it, and
Hmm.
hence the need for Cabrini in this work that she's about to do.
So there's a scene that I think Monteverde really loves, and he talks about it, is when she is pitching to would-be donors for the hospital of 400 beds. Right? And
Yes,
she's a smart lady. She got wealthy people who were of Polish, uh,
Irish, there was an Irishman
Irish,
in there.
and Jewish.
Yes.
And she starts off her speech, and my heart just sank when she's like, "When I came here, I had to learn new words that I didn't know before." And it was, the derogatory names for Italians. And I was like, "Oh." He was very particular that that was a scene he did on purpose because he also wanted to show, you know how in those photos, the artworks of saints, they have the halo around the saints.
Yes.
He says, if you saw there's a picture of Washington, George Washington on the back on the wall where there's an oval of him. And then when we're doing the scene, and then she shows the blueprints on the table, there's a reflection of her face, and there's a
Mm,
halo around her. I was like, "What?"
I
I
like
didn't
it.
I didn't get that.
I
I
li
Yeah, go ahead.
well, and I'll tell you what scene sets the tone if you're talking about the immigrant message.
Yep,
I didn't know if I was gonna be able to make it through this movie because the opening scene had me in tears pretty immediately with the little boy.
it was pretty heavy.
It was
Yeah,
very heavy. I mean,
yeah.
very heavy. I mean, I don't know if we're getting to spoilers, but that one, if
No.
that doesn't have you in tears.
Yeah, Monteverde, goes right for it. It's showing you what probably the greatest city, it's definitely in the New World at the time with of New York, 1889. was this little Italian boy frantically looking for help because his mother's dying of we find out of typhus, right?
Yes.
And she's in a wheelbarrow. You're just like, and
And just
everyone's
like, he can't speak English and he's trying so
mhm.
frantically to get help, and you just so feel it for because it's a little boy and it's his whole world in that barrel. It's all he has. Like, it was just like, "Oh my gosh." And just the coldness that he received.
Well, I think it's interesting. I mean, in reading about this, about the history, there was a lot of lynchings of Italian Americans, and that's again, which is a another side of history that you just don't think of because usually when you think of lynchings, it's just at that time African Americans or or even Mexicans in Texas. But I'm like, they lynched Italians? Oh my God, who didn't they lynch?
Well, I
So,
I mean, because
it,
you think about it, I mean, you
mhm.
think even over in Europe, they fought and warred with each other for years.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Same
right.
color skin. They just, it's that nationality thing.
So I think what was lovely, what Monteverde shows, obviously these characters with a lot of dignity. Obviously, they're very impoverished. I thought what was interesting in with this immigrant story is that how she got other Italians to help her out, and one was
Yes.
that opera singer.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes, because at first he's like, "No, thanks."
Right, but remember what he says?
What does he say to her?
He says, "I will never, ever, ever." He's like, "I think you're great, but I will never, ever, ever help you because the church is a scam." He said that,
Yes. Okay, yes. Yeah.
and I was like, because people still feel that way.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't see all the good work that churches do day in, day out.
Yes.
And I think he put that in there as on purpose. I think Monteverde did that on purpose because here you have the biggest celebrity at the time for Italians was this opera singer, and he was living in high life in New York, right? And he had they show him great scene. He's playing in the opera. Like this guy is commanding sold out rooms. That he won't help them out,
Yeah.
because the church is a scam. I mean that was great, Michelle. What did you think about that?
No, that was great, and in fact, not to get on a soapbox, but one of my things that I'd
Hmm.
actually said recently is we live in a culture where so often Hollywood, what we get from Hollywood, what we get from the news is only the scammers or the negative from the church. And the reality of church history is there are
Mm.
way more Cabrinis than there have been scammers. And that's why I love the story because it's almost like reverse programming. Like, no, let me show you what real Christianity is and what it's done throughout the ages. It's sought to help the less fortunate and to do exactly what she does in this movie.
Well, I mean, you are a minister. You already know our next segment.
Yes.
For those people who maybe are agnostic or even atheists, yeah, I'm not going to watch this movie. It's a Catholic movie, it's a Christian movie. Is this a mainstream religious film? Is there too much God in this film? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so at all because I think this movie is very accessible to
Hmm.
people who maybe are I don't know about a Christian film or something like that
Hmm.
because it's not like there's these moments where they're preaching to you like in what they're
Hmm.
saying. The movie lets her life speak for itself. The
Yeah.
movie shows this woman be what true Christians are, and that is like the hands and the feet of Christ. And really it's through this
Oh,
woman's life that
yeah.
that a message of the gospel is being preached, but they're not preaching it at you. You're
No.
just seeing it lived out.
Wonderfully said. And there's that line, and I'm paraphrasing, is that every day you either serve your purpose or you serve
Yes.
your weakness. And I was like, dang.
That was a good line.
I mean, there's so many good lines in this. And again, it could have been easily very like movie of the week, Hallmark, melodramatic. But the actors from John Lithgow, hello,
Mhm.
to David Morse, they sold this movie to
Yes.
Giancarlo Giannini as the Pope, Leo.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
You know, yeah, so I bring that up because that's how, like you said, Monteverde tells his story is like, well, anyone can serve a higher purpose,
Yes.
and we all have weakness. And Monteverde even said that, it's like, you know, I battle my weaknesses all the time, but this is a woman, who literally had to battle her physical weakness every day.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I also, I agree with you in regards to, let's not make any mistake. She's Mother Cabrini, a missionary, gets direct, got the direct, you know, uh, action papers from the Pope himself
Mhm.
to spread the gospel of Jesus, right? That you don't really hear that in the film, but it's just kind of unfolds itself in the storytelling, which I mean, I don't have a problem with it, and I wouldn't have minded if they actually said the J word here and there.
Yeah, I that do you know that was my only critique? If I was gonna
Mm,
give a critique, because it is a faith-based film, she quotes the scripture, "I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me," and she just says, "I can do all things in him who strengthens me." It didn't take away my effect, but I was like, "You coulda just said it, just go ahead for it." But,
right.
'cause, they say it in Hollywood movies a lot, just in a different way.
Yeah, great point. Great point. But I think that it's nitpicking for us, right?
Yeah,
And
that's a total nitpick. That's why I didn't even bring
yeah.
it up in my review.
But yeah, it's good to talk about it because I think maybe some people that are on the fence, if you guys are on the fence because I don't want to be preached to, Polly, I don't want to be preached to, Force of Light. Yeah, you're not going to be preached to.
Yeah,
You're
because
going to be.
I would say if you're a person out there and maybe again you say you're not a Christian or any of that, if
Hmm.
you like seeing good done, then
Mm.
I think this is a film for you because that's really what it is. It's good being accomplished for the world.
With great cinematography, with great filmmaking, the guy Monteverde knows how to make a film. He
Yes.
knows how to like just I'm gonna have a tight shot of her face and her big eyes looking out of this window, and then I'm gonna go epic and go through the window, and you're gonna see the sea. She's gonna look down at the sea, and then, oh my God, he had great transitions. I got to see it again.
That was good.
Um, but yeah, I think you guys are safe on the religious, if especially if you're not a believer. It's like
Mhm.
you're going to be inspired by this woman's deeds, and not just her, but her sisters and the people that she rallies. That prostitute.
Oh,
we got to talk. We
I
got to
love
talk
that
about her
character.
for a second. Go ahead.
Love the character.
Yeah, yeah,
Eh, you said talk about it now or
yeah.
Oh,
Please.
yes. That was such a I didn't when she first appears, I didn't you
Mhm.
obviously don't know she's basically gonna become the supporting actress
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
movie, but I really loved that character and her story that
Mhm.
you see, and just, again, how welcoming, because that's something, again, Christians can kinda get called by on, I think, kinda sometimes wrongly,
Mm,
how welcoming she was of Mother Cabrini of
mhm.
this prostitute, and I just thought that story was very redemptive, and I really appreciated it.
Well, goes into our final segment, everybody, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you guys, I'm sure you're already subscribed to Force Light at this time, March 10th, 2024, over 30,000 subscribers. Force Light, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Make sure you subscribe to both our channels and comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking about our deep dive. We are just very passionate about bringing this to you. I mean, obviously, with Michelle being a minister, myself, I got to tell you, we talked about this. Being born again was one thing for me, but then putting it into action with my sobriety took me over.
Yeah.
And seeing this story, I want more stories like this. I
I do
love these.
too.
Yeah. I do too. So okay, so all right, we go back to this. Hey, talk about redemptive, right? We got this the Italian prostitute. You know, maybe that's where the whole saying, "the hooker with the heart of gold,"
That comes from.
for the mean streets of 5 Points. Um, there's a strong female empowerment message here that should not be mistaken for strong women.
Yes.
So let's talk about that because I know you have some thoughts.
I do. I just think this was kind of an old school type because, I mean, here's the thing. I think people today we've almost become overly sensitized to is there something woke or whatever you want to say,
Mm.
whatever word you want to use there, because of what we have received. But like this is more in the vein of movies we used to get in the past because, I
Mm.
mean, you do have to look at the time this was made. I mean, women really didn't have very many rights at this
Mm.
point. And she is the first woman, it says, in the Catholic Church to be sent on a overseas mission trip.
Amazing.
So I mean, it is what it is, and that's where it's
Yeah.
like, like you said, it's not women. It's just it happens to be a strong woman, and I that was one of the things I really actually this and Ordinary Angels, 2 of the last faith-based
Oh,
movies I have
good
seen
one.
have given me 2 of the best female characters I've seen on screen in a while.
Interesting. I really like that film as well.
It was good.
At the time, women were still, for the lack of a better word, property.
Yes.
1880s. Definitely had no property rights or
Couldn't get a
uh
checking account by themselves.
correct. All
Right.
the
Yeah.
above, right? And then if you were, a lack of a better word, minority,
Mhm.
in the US big cities, it was even more challenging as in the story. I totally bought it. Well, first of all, it was history. She
Mhm.
she she existed. But there are stories of nuns, whether it's the old country or Mexico with Sor Juana, to Cabrini, that because of their habit, and being under the church, they were able to be far more, let's use this word, social justice warriors of
Mhm.
their time. They were ahead of their time, Michelle.
Yeah. No,
And
they were.
mhm,
Yeah, because, I mean, people like to debate what women can do in
mm,
Christianity and stuff. The bottom line is the Bible is filled and church history is filled with not discussing what women can do, but what women did. And you find that all throughout the Bible and church history, and that's why this story doesn't bother me at all. It's a true story about a woman who has a vision, as she says, to build an empire of hope.
mm,
And, she's just fulfilling this call that the Lord has put in her heart to do. And
yeah,
there's nothing what I loved about this character, and you let me know what you think.
yeah,
One of the things that we don't like about the strong women character when it goes that way, characters, they're overbearing and unlikable,
yeah,
like most of the time.
yeah,
And
sure.
in this, Cabrini, she is a woman who's gonna get stuff done. She's gonna find like you said, she's got a lot of wit. She's gonna find a way very intelligently to get accomplished what she wants to get accomplished. But there is a grace to this character and a grace to her
Mm,
presence, and she's very feminine, and that's what I appreciated. It's a woman operating and you could say her feminine energy, but getting stuff done and
well,
not being
yeah.
told no.
Yeah, you gotta remember, guys, I mean, it was unheard of what she did. Even talking to the Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, challenge after challenge after she just never took no for an answer. She never put down men.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't put down men in the film, you know? And she uplifts everyone to their best capabilities. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but she's got moxie. That was the
She
word.
does.
She's got moxie, and her network, her empire of hope, with her hospitals and orphanages all over the world,
Yeah.
all over the world. That
And schools too. Began to
sa-
open schools for little kids.
Actually, the schools are really kind of like took a backseat, right, to the orphanage and the houses, but you're at to in hospitals. But you're absolutely right. Um, but so Monteverde knew everything that you just said in regards to the female message, and he didn't back away from that. In fact, there were points in the filmmaking, right, where the second time she went to go visit the newspaper man, she was looking out the window with, and so we got the back of her with her cape. I'm like, it's like the female Batman in New York.
I loved her cape.
She was so cool.
She was.
You're
She
like,
was.
okay, yeah, yeah. So you're absolutely right, and we talked about this, and we'll wrap this up. So you can tell, guys, we're a little passionate about this. Um, was he balanced it very well as far as, hey, this is God's work in action, which is
Mhm.
helping the poor, helping the immigrants, helping the disenfranchised. No, we're not making any. This is the work. This is
Yeah.
the work, and I think organized religion and all the good work they've done have gotten a horrible name
Mhm.
from mainstream pop culture, and I think that's why I think this movie is even more important.
I totally agree because again, it goes back to show people, no, yes, there's been bad actors, there's been bad people in it, but there's
Mhm.
also been Mother Cabrini's who I mean, going back
Mhm.
to the little boy at the beginning,
Mm.
she changes that little boy's life for the better. You know, the
He
little
comes
boy.
back.
Yep, the little boy
Yep.
has nothing, and then Mother Cabrini comes,
That
you
was a
know, and
great
all
character.
he was such a
Oof.
cute little guy. But Mother Cabrini comes back, and that I mean, again, it just shows you the heart of Christianity, you know, truly
Mm.
helping, and again, an empire of hope, wanting to give
Mhm.
people, hope and life, really,
So
because
at this time,
those kids
guys,
were dying without her.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I at this time, and I'll get back to this really quickly. This time, March 10th, at the time filming of this video, it's in over 2,400 theaters across the U.S. Hopefully, you guys can check it out. And if you're in another country, just check your listings. But in regards to the fever, and like you said, with kind of like that woke watch, a knee
Yeah.
jerk reaction that people have. I think the same thing can be said of the anti-immigrant sentiment that is going on today. And I just would like, hopefully, that this film also reminds people that everyone's a human being with dignity.
Yes.
I mean, let's be dignified, even if you have like the best argument. You make the best sense. I get it, but we're talking about human lives, and even to say that, right, Michelle? It's like, so why is that a controversy nowadays?
Because everything in our culture is controversial.
I mean, I can't even say that without like this side getting upset, that side, I don't care. I care about people, Michelle, and I know you
Yes.
do as well. Any final words on Cabrini?
Yeah, just I think people should see it. I thought it was a beautiful film, and again, it really will, I think, touch people's hearts for multiple different factors, whether you're a woman and you wanna be inspired by
Mm,
what one woman's dream could do, whether, again, you're an immigrant, or even, you know, for us, it's refreshing as American to know these stories and to know what it was like back then, and you're like, "Oh,
mm,
wow, man, it was that way." So I just think I thought it was but with all that said,
mhm,
it's just a beautiful story, and it's someone, and again, in our society where we love our safe spaces and things like that, it's good for
mm,
younger people to see someone that has so many obstacles put in
yeah,
front of them,
mm.
and they won't be stopped. We need more of that resilience in our society today.
Well, so well said, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here. Force of Light, you know where to check them out. Like I said, video box description. Go right now. Uh, keep checking out. Maybe we'll have some more coverage on Cabrini. Hopefully, we'll get an interview. You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. I'm gonna Cabrini it. I'm gonna, Angel Studios, give me Monteverde now. Uh,
Let's try to get him and her.
Oh my God. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. See, we just put it out there. Michelle Force of Light, Paulie Latino Slant. Take care, everybody, wherever you're at. Keep your slang fuerte. Gracias. Oh, and always be a force of
A force
light.
of
That's my
light.
favorite.